just really quick, like I said, we've managed thousands of brands over the 10 plus years we've been in business. And these are the questions that we typically hear when somebody's looking to expand. Number one, which marketplace should I target first when they're looking at global expansion? Two, how will I know if my product's a good fit for that marketplace? So in other words, maybe it sells well in the US or wherever you're located, but can I actually take this somewhere else and see success with it? And then third, how should I actually grow or optimize that product once I do decide to launch it? Because what might work, in the United States may not work in Europe or may not work in Australia. And so there's ways and tools that we'll cover that'll show you basically how you can do research, understand exactly where you fit within that market, and kind of enter the market already knowing what to expect over the next 3, 6, 9 months. So first and foremost, we're going to look at some global opportunities. On the next slide, I'll show you here just really fast. This is statistics from a company called Statista, but looking at e-commerce, where it was in 2020 versus where they're projecting in 2025. You can see the world as a whole is projected to increase by a little over 47%. And then Asia, China, North America, and Europe, you can kind of look at the differences there. For the most part, everybody's expanding pretty fast. North America actually is one of the slowest growing markets, which is interesting. Obviously, it's the top, and it's after China, the US is one of the biggest markets. But you can see that the opportunity for growth is pretty huge outside of North America. So if you're currently only selling in the United States, there's a huge opportunity to expand and see opportunities to grow. Next, we can look kind of by country, and you can see it by the different marketplaces that Amazon represents. So like I said, China, it's $1.3 trillion worth of e-commerce in 2022. United States is second, and then Japan, United Kingdom. You can see kind of the list going down there. What we find is most people start in the United States, they branch into something like Canada and Mexico just because, geographically and logistically it's easiest. But there's actually a lot of big opportunities if you can look into some of these additional markets, whether it's the UK or the rest of Europe, or some of these Asian marketplaces that are booming right now. So the next question then is, how do I know if my product fits there? What can I do to actually do some research to understand where I fit within that market? We'll cover kind of briefly 2 tools that I really like. There's a lot of different tools out there. I don't get any sort of affiliate marketing or anything with these guys, but these are great tools. Jungle Scout, most people have heard of. It's been out there forever. You can download their plugin. You can get a membership or subscription to their actual application, where you can then, as you're scrolling through your different Amazon marketplaces, you can pull up this different information. The things that I like to look for when I'm doing research into additional marketplaces is, number one, what are those average monthly sales for a particular keyword? So if in this particular case, we're looking at like squares for carpentry, you can look and say, okay, 656 a month are being sold. The average sales rank, which is basically how competitive is that category, because Amazon ranks every product, as you guys are all probably very aware, where you rank as far as different categories are concerned with the bestseller rank. This is going to show you roughly how close to the top is the average seller. Now, the higher the number, obviously that means it's not necessarily a very fast moving category. The lower that number means there's a lot of really good competitive products. And so you have to look at that and understand, how much demand is there, how competitive is that marketplace. For me, in general, I like to try and keep that somewhere between 50 to 100,000 is the average. That tells me that it's a very fast moving marketplace and that I can jump in and start to see some pretty good revenue pretty quick. Obviously, average price point, that helps you just know where you fit in the market. Are you one of the low cost leaders? Are you trying to be a luxury item? Or are you right in the middle? And then the number of reviews. As we all know, reviews are king on Amazon. And so, knowing that the average seller product has over 2,600 reviews, it tells you just kind of how big is that hill you have to climb in order to really be competitive, get that consumer confidence, and understand where you fit. The next tool on the next slide is with Helium 10. And what this does is kind of gets even more granular. And this is something that I think a lot of people miss, is they'll look at a high level and say, okay, the category works great. There's opportunity there. But what we like to do, and this is part of what we do with all of our brands, is we then take it a step further and look at the keyword distribution. So not only is there an opportunity, but now specifically what keywords should I be targeting and where can I actually win some traffic and start getting some sales? So you can see here, this is actually an umbrella. a company that sells umbrellas. This is just a generic term for actually one of their competitors to see what are the types of terms people are searching. You can see there in the column kind of towards the middle, how much search volume on a monthly basis do those individual terms get? Is it trending up or down? How many sales does that actually generate? And are people running, sponsored ads? Are they just organically ranking for these? So this is all data that's important to look at, and it helps you understand what is the competition doing? How are they being successful? And then how can I replicate that? How can I go target these same keywords or pick the most relevant keywords to what I offer in order to be successful in the marketplace? So those two tools are highly recommended. They allow you to do a lot of research and understanding, again, where's your competition at? What does the marketplace look like? And from what I understand, both these tools are available in just about every marketplace that Amazon offers. And so quick membership to either one of these allows you to do that. Now that you know there is an opportunity, the biggest thing, and this is what kind of we do every day as a company, is understanding the growth mindset. So first and foremost, how do you actually really start growing and driving sales on Amazon? Again, like I mentioned, it's all about the opportunity. Like I talked about at the beginning, impressions are basically how many people can we get to go see the page, how many people actually visit our listing or get opportunities to visit that listing by us showing up in the search results. Once we start generating clicks because we have attractive imagery or a good looking title or price point, that's obviously going to help us then start focusing on conversion optimization. And conversion optimization is once you've trapped that customer on your page, how do you get them to actually add it to their cart so that we can increase sales? The first and most important thing on any listing is the content, right? So your images, your infographics, if you have videos, all of that is what we'd like to look at and make sure that what Amazon terms your listing is retail ready. Again, we want to make sure that everything looks good, it feels good. And specifically when you're going into international marketplaces, making sure that it's catered towards that particular culture, that particular audience, because it changes, right? Some people have different spellings of products. They word their sentences a little bit differently, or the type of imagery that's acceptable in one marketplace may not be in another. And so you want to make sure that you cater that listing to the individual marketplace that you're trying to approach. Because you could also, you could have great looking imagery here in the United States, but in a foreign market, it could actually be offensive, or it could be something that is just not as attractive and doesn't appeal to that audience. So make sure you think through that process, do a little bit of research into who your audience is in those individual markets and understand that. After that, the next thing to do is to really focus on driving ads. Now, again, those same tools like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout will show you how to do the market research. They'll show you those keywords like we already talked about, then build out your campaigns, set your budgets, and allow that to start growing. Running an effective ad strategy out the gate is going to be the fastest way to start to scale your business in any sort of market, whether it's the United States or any foreign market. Having an effective ad campaign is what's going to attract people's attention really fast. And it's going to allow you to start making sales when you don't necessarily rank organically for anything, because you're the brand new product on the market. You have no momentum behind you. And so Amazon has no reason to really rank your product well until you start showing some momentum. So what we like to do is break that down into some different phases. You guys can dig into this a little bit more, but essentially get things up and going. Just start with a simple budget, whether it's $50 to $100 a day. Once you've got that running, really hit the gas and get everything moving. Don't worry as much about like profitability or anything like that. Just start generating some sales. Look at it as a marketing expense. And then as you move into that phase 3, you look at tacos, which is like your acquisition cost, and start to really refine things so that you can drive really profitable, sustainable business model. And then the last thing, once you've got all your advertising, everything's running smooth, really the last piece to everything is just making sure that you continue to give it consistent attention. You can't really set it and forget it. You have to be watching and making sure that everything is moving on a day-to-day basis. And as you get that moving forward, that's really what's going to drive the success is being consistent, taking the time to do it. Unfortunately, Amazon's not one of those, set it up and get rich quick. You've got to spend the time to rank and then grow over time. So lastly, if anybody has any questions or would like to get in touch with me or my team, Josh can leave you a link in the description, in the chat. And then there's also some links here as well. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to chat with you and give you a free consultation on what your product looks like and how you can expand.
Awesome. Gabe from Evolved Commerce, thanks so much for really walking us through the flow from beginning to global, and how to really hack through with those tools. So thank you very much.